Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Transfer Talks episode. And this is, of course, episode 6, where we'll go through the latest confirmed transfers, rumors, and also speculations in the World Tour and Pro Continental scene. And as always, I'm joined by Mr. Krogo himself, Ewan. And one of our first stories is one of the drama stories from the Vuelta a España, Miguel Angel Lopez, after his somewhat rage quit at the Vuelta a España this year. And with Ewan, what is the update on this situation?
Well, what's happening right now seems to be an interesting turn of events. Following the Miguel Angel Lopez surprise retirement from the Vuelta a España, the team managers at Movistar said that he was able to leave the team, even though he just signed a 2-year contract with the Spanish outlet. It seems like Miguel Angel Lopez might be heading back home to Astana. That's what the Colombian press and the Colombian rumors are circulating suggest. If so, then he will go back into his old GC position at the team where he flourished as a young rider, finishing on the podium at the Vuelta a España and the Giro d'Italia back in 2018. So Astana seems to be the destination. And once again, Miguel Angel Lopez's future seems to be up in the air.
Yeah, and what do you think of the rumor that he might also be going to UAE Team Emirates? Of course, they seem to be sweeping up a lot of these big riders already. Joao Almeida has headed there, confirmation for the 2022 season. And do you think maybe we could see Miguel Angel Lopez, considering the high wage he also has, go to the Middle Eastern outfit?
Well, potentially, I think Astana is a more probable scenario purely because he was there before. He knows the team. He left because he didn't get paid enough. That's the only problem. But now they don't have Vlasov on their pay sheets. So that could also help to seduce him back to them. But as you mentioned, UAE, I mean, they've got everyone almost in the peloton right now. They're running short on big headline transfers. So this could really put them back on the map if they did so. But I'm a little bit more convinced by the Astana rumor.
So anyways, moving on to one of the biggest teams in the peloton, the biggest budget, Ineos Grenadiers. We had a number of you commented on when are they actually going to do any moves in the transfer. Well, we've got confirmation that Rohan Dennis is, leaving for Jumbo Visma. We knew that, but they're also signing a very young starlet from Alpecin-Phoenix, and who is also British. And what can you tell us about this one, Ewan?
So Ben Tellett is just 20 years old. In fact, he is younger than I am. And he is about to sign onto the World Tour. He, of course, won the World Junior Championships in cyclocross. He's been British champion as well in the past for his age category. And I think Ben Tellett is on for big things. He's had a really solid season so far, getting top 10s on the road, including a top 10 overall at the Tour de Pologne. So this young Brit may be joining the Pidcock generation and so forth at Ineos. But Scott, I thought Alpecin-Phoenix was a perfect fit for him. I really thought that they were going to allow him to become the next Van der Poel and to learn from Van der Poel. But instead, he's joining Ineos and he's going to be fighting with Ethan Hayter and Tom Pidcock for those kind of roles within the team. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, well, Ineos Grenadiers going back to the old ethos of signing the hottest British talents. And they haven't done that for a few seasons since, Pidcock was the first one they signed again. But yeah, as you said, he might just disappear into the team, or potentially he could do what Tom Pidcock and rise to the occasion. Speaking of former junior world champions, former junior world champion on the road, Julius Johansson, that we mentioned before, and track star as well, world champion last year, has confirmed that he is leaving Uno X and going to Intermache Wanty Gobert. Intermache Wanty Gobert are also rumored to be losing one of the heroes of the Vuelta a España, the red jersey holder, Odd Christian Eiking. And Björn, how do you see this? Is this a good signing, and losing Odd Christian Eiking potentially a big loss for them?
Well, Odd Christian Eiking really brought them some good headlines this year. He's been riding with the team for a number of years. And, I would have thought with all the Norwegians at the squad and this new sort of field of Danes moving towards Intermarché that he'd like to stay. But don't forget, he's worn the red jersey. He's been up there fighting in La Vuelta. He's probably worth a lot more now in terms of his contract value. So moving to a team like EF could really suit him. And you know what? It's a team with a good energy and so forth. He'll probably enjoy it there. They're very egalitarian with their pay and with their rewards and so forth on the road. Nevertheless, getting Julius Johansson, we'll have to find out what that means. He's still quite young. I hope he doesn't end up like Mads Schmidt maybe as being a little bit of an underwhelming Danish talent on the road, but Julius has a whole host of talent. And maybe this means that he will be sort of holding back in his track days now that he will be our World Tour team with a higher paid salary to ride on the road. Nevertheless, shall we switch our focus towards a rider who is leaving the Pro Peloton? That is, of course, Dan Martin. We spoke about him moving to Cofidis last week and about what that could mean, joining Cedric Vasseur's team. So this week, it was announced that Dan Martin will be retiring at the end of the season, following what was a very good Giro d'Italia. Maybe not the best Tour de France, but Dan Martin has kind of won a stage of almost every big race there is. So definitely leaving an illustrious career behind.
Yeah, it's a shame they just didn't have that one extra season with Cofidis. Both of us kind of were hoping for that. Probably not the Israel Startup Nation star that we would have said should have retired, but we'll leave that for another day. So speaking of riders linked to Ineos Grenadiers, Ewan, one of their former stars, I would say, Elia Viviani, is linked back to them following a very hard few years with Cofidis. And what do you see for this? They're not really renowned as a sprinting setup. They have won a lot of sprints in the past, of course. But do you think this is going to be a good fit for Elia Viviani and Ineos Grenadiers?
I think this is an interesting move. Of course, the Italian press were talking about Eola Cometa as well, but now there seems to be a much more concrete rumor. And Elia Viviani going back home, well, he was quite illustrious at Team Sky when he rode for them between 2015 onwards. He, of course, took his first Giro d'Italia stage win with the squad, and I think it could work out. However, with Bernal and all these other GC hopes, he might have his chances a little bit strapped on the flat days. That's the only problem here, but he's had this problem before, and he must get on with the team well enough to return to them. Of course, Ineos Grenadiers has been quite Italian in the past. Their former sponsor, Sky, was trying to branch out into Italy financially and commercially. So I think it's an interesting move, but with the lack of pure sprinters at the moment at Ineos, it kind of makes sense.
So anyways, Ewan, one of the teams that we haven't spoken about much in these transfer episodes is Trek-Segafredo, other than Vincenzo Nibali. But what can you tell us about their two latest signings?
Well, the Basque sprinter John Aberasturi will be moving to Trek-Segafredo next year, following what was a very good number of Vuelta a Españas in the past. He won a stage of the Tour of Slovenia this year, and the Carrera rider is moving to Trek at the World Tour for the first time in his career. Otherwise, Antwan Tolhoek, we mentioned this a number of weeks ago. He just finished the Vuelta a España helping Primož Roglic, and now he will be helping maybe himself for some success next year as he will be moving to Trek-Segafredo likewise. Anyway, let's talk about Astana once again. And to Alexei Lutsenko, we spoke about him potentially moving to Quebec and Nextash, as Premier Tech might be taking up the role of co-sponsor at that team. However, that has fallen through, and Lutsenko has signed with the Astana squad season and has signed with Astana for a number of seasons to come. This makes a lot more sense than the Quebeco rumor, but Alexei Lutsenko will be riding for himself potentially next year at the Grand Tours, which will be good to see.
So, Ewan, just before we finish, what are kind of the best of the rest in terms of the confirmations of transfers for this week?
Well, Diego Rosa has been linked from Arkea Samsic over to Eola Cometa. Elsewhere, Nicolas Ede, former red jersey wearer of the Vuelta a España, will be moving from Cofidis to Arkea. If you're a fan of the Austrian cyclist, well, Michael Gogl, who had a very, very good Strada Bianca this year, will be moving towards Alpecin Fenix, which is a very, very natural move for him. Likewise, Tosh van der Sande, who had a good Spring Classic season as well, will be going to Jumbo Visma.
Anyways, that's our 6th episode of Transfer Talks. And of course, as always, make sure to leave a comment down below which transfer really excites you. And if you have liked this video, please hit the like button. And to keep up to date with all our videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And of course, thank you very much for watching and have a nice day.